What key virtues does Marcus Aurelius emphasize? Marcus Aurelius heavily emphasizes virtues like justice, truth, temperance, and manliness. These, he argues, are more valuable than external things like wealth or fame. He stresses living in accordance with nature, meaning both human nature and the nature of the universe. This involves accepting what we cannot control and focusing on acting justly and rationally. How should one approach death according to Aurelius? Aurelius views death as a natural part of the universe's cycle, not something to be feared. He suggests we focus on living a virtuous life in the present, rather than worrying about death. He reminds us that death is inevitable, and that fearing it is irrational. What is the role of reason in Aurelius' philosophy? Reason plays a central role in Aurelius' philosophy. He sees it as the divine spark within us, guiding us to act justly and understand our place in the universe. He advocates for constant self-reflection and examination of our thoughts to ensure they align with reason. How does Aurelius suggest we deal with anger and negativity? Aurelius encourages replacing anger and negativity with kindness and understanding. He reminds us that people often act out of ignorance rather than malice. Instead of responding with anger, he suggests trying to educate and correct gently. How should we handle external opinions and criticisms? Aurelius believes we should not be swayed by external opinions or criticisms. He advises focusing on living a virtuous life, which is its own reward. He suggests that worrying about what others think is a distraction from focusing on our own moral development. What is the significance of the universal substance in Aurelius' thinking? The universal substance refers to the interconnected nature of everything in the universe. Aurelius emphasizes that we are all part of this larger whole, and our actions should reflect this understanding. Recognizing our place in the universe helps us act with greater wisdom and compassion. How should we approach our duties and actions in the world? Aurelius emphasizes approaching our duties with a sense of social responsibility. He encourages us to act for the common good and view every action as an opportunity to contribute to the well-being of humanity. He also stresses acting with sincerity and without seeking praise or recognition. Can you summarize the core message of Marcus Aurelius' Meditations? Marcus Aurelius' Meditations advocates for a life guided by reason, virtue, and acceptance of the natural order. He encourages us to focus on what we can control our thoughts and actions and find peace and fulfillment in aligning ourselves with the universe's grand scheme. How should I view material possessions and wealth? While Stoicism doesn't outright forbid wealth, it encourages a mindset detached from material possessions. True wealth lies not in what you own, but in your self-sufficiency and inner peace. View riches as fleeting and external. Strive instead to cultivate inner riches, wisdom, virtue, and a strong character. Remember, even the simplest things like porridge and water can be subject to fortune's whims. Aim to reach a point where you are indifferent to external gains or losses. How can I find happiness in a world full of distractions and desires? True happiness, or joy, stems from a serene mind, one free from the sway of external factors. It comes from aligning your life with nature and reason, finding contentment in your own self-sufficiency and virtue. Stoicism encourages us to detach from fleeting pleasures and ambitions. Instead, focus on developing your inner self, your reason, and virtue. This inner strength is the only true source of lasting joy, unperturbed by external circumstances. How do I deal with the fear of death and life's uncertainties? Death is a natural part of life, and fearing it only robs us of the joy in the present. Embrace the Stoic perspective that death is not an evil, merely a transformation. Instead of fearing the unknown, focus on living virtuously in the present. Prepare for death by reflecting on your life, examining your actions, and ensuring you are living according to your values. How can I cultivate true and lasting friendships? Authentic friendships, like true wealth, are not dependent on external factors. True friends are drawn to your character, not your possessions or status. Choose friends carefully, judging their character before extending your trust. Be a true friend yourself by being trustworthy, supportive, and willing to offer honest advice. How do I handle criticism and maintain a strong sense of self in the face of adversity? Stoicism emphasizes inner strength and self-reliance. Don't seek validation from others. Find contentment in your own self-worth and strive to live according to your principles. View criticism as an opportunity for self-reflection and growth, disregarding baseless opinions. Remember, true strength lies in adhering to your virtuous path, even when misunderstood. What is the importance of practicing what you preach as a Stoic? Authenticity is paramount in Stoicism. Let your actions reflect your words by embodying virtue in every aspect of your life. Test your progress not through words, but through your deeds and responses to life's challenges. Strive for consistency in your thoughts, actions, and desires, remaining true to your Stoic principles even in private. How can I benefit from periods of solitude and self-reflection? Solitude is crucial for self-improvement. It provides the space to connect with your inner self, examine your weaknesses, and strengthen your resolve. Embrace silence, quieting external distractions to listen to your inner voice. Use this time to study Stoic teachings, reflect on your actions, and nurture your mind. How do I navigate a world filled with distractions and temptations, especially the allure of excessive pleasure? The Stoic path requires discipline and self-control. Be wary of excessive pleasures. They often lead to more suffering in the long run. Practice moderation and be mindful of the fleeting nature of sensual indulgence. Just as Ulysses resisted the siren's call, learn to recognize and resist the allure of harmful temptations. Focus on cultivating inner peace and lasting joy found in a life aligned with virtue. What is the main idea of Stoicism? Stoicism is a philosophy that emphasizes virtue, reason, and living in accordance with nature. Its central teaching is that true happiness and freedom come from focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, judgments, and actions, and accepting what we cannot control, external events, opinions of others, etc. By mastering our minds, we can find tranquility and fulfillment regardless of external circumstances. What are the things within our control, according to Stoicism? According to Stoicism, the only things truly within our control are our thoughts, judgments, choices, desires, and aversions. In other words, our internal world and the actions we choose to take are our domain. What about everything else? Everything else, our body, possessions, reputation, social status, and even the actions of others falls outside our direct control. These externals are subject to change, chance, and the will of others. Stoics believe we should not cling to these things or be overly concerned with them. How does a Stoic deal with negative emotions? Stoics recognize that negative emotions like anger, fear, and grief are a natural part of life. However, they believe these emotions often stem from our judgments about events, not the events themselves. By challenging and reframing our thoughts, we can lessen their negative impact and choose more constructive responses. What is the role of death in Stoicism? Stoics contemplate death not with fear, but as a natural part of life's cycle. They believe reflecting on our mortality helps us appreciate the present moment, focus on what truly matters, and live with greater purpose. How does social duty fit into Stoicism? While Stoicism emphasizes individual self-control, it also recognizes the importance of social duty. Stoics believe we are all part of a larger human community and have a responsibility to treat others with justice, kindness, and respect, regardless of their actions or social standing. What is the Stoic perspective on pleasure? Stoics are not against pleasure, but they don't see it as the ultimate goal in life. They caution against becoming enslaved by fleeting pleasures and advocate for pursuing a virtuous life, which ultimately brings the most lasting satisfaction. How can one start practicing Stoicism today? Start by paying attention to your thoughts and reactions. When faced with challenges, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, accept it and focus on what you can control your response. Practice mindfulness, self-reflection, and seek out wisdom from Stoic texts and teachers. Remember, Stoicism is a lifelong practice, not a quick fix.